Alrighty, folks, welcome in. It is Monday, December 23rd, 2024, the week of Christmas. Let's go ahead and jump on back to last Friday. If you guys recall, for anyone who was in the pre-market broadcast, we talked about there being some pretty good clues from the overnight lows for a potential bounce, right? So we were expecting that the bulls were going to try and push the market back up, or at least get one of those, maybe a short cover rally, whatever. And sure enough, that's basically what we got, right? Friday was a very strong day. So let's take a look and see what happened here. I did take a couple trades there in the pre-market. Got short, only got a little bit out of it. Got long, got a little bit out of it there. But let's take a look at what happened once the market opened here on Friday. The bulls did defend the pullback right down to the first test there of the 200 moving average. You even got a beautiful bullish divergence on that second low, which was a test of the VWAP to the tick. So there was a good long opportunity right out of the open. If you took that, you pretty much nailed the low of the day. And I don't think the market ever came. Oh, I'm sorry. It did come back and then it went, but you got a beautiful, 20, 25 point push right up to where I would have urged you to take more profit off, which was the low of the day before. How often do we see a big sell-off and then the bears are still strong and they rally it right to the low of the day before, the big swing low, and then go ahead and sell off into the rest of the day, right? So nailed that rotation up at the top of the open there. On the way up, as you can see here, it's not just like you had one opportunity to the tick with no risk for a nice 20, 25 point push. But then we also had, and I keep forgetting this, then we had all these. So here's the first test, right to our roadmap level here. Whether you chose the 200 or VWAP probably doesn't matter. Right, so right there, then they pulled back with bullish divergence again, right to the holy orange power level to the tick, right? There's a beautiful long opportunity there. Then they come up and there's a fade opportunity right off our roadmap level. And then it pulls back and finds support at the roadmap level, right? So all of these rotations in here are right off our levels to the tick, right? And then they get up through the original resistance here, our roadmap level, and then it pulls back here for 3 tests and then finally breaks out up to the next major roadmap level. So great opportunities here, a pullback to every single level. You even had it right there with a whole bunch of bullish divergence as it kept trying to pull back. So great opportunities there, and then there's your fade right off the top end, right? On the pullback there, this is where they might have thrown a little bit of a wrench in the gears there. Maybe thinking that the bullish expectation for the day was over with, they pulled it back, right? And on that pullback, what happened here? We got ourselves a beautiful test of the fast moving average, right? Held, and then it pulled back, and right here, my friends, that is that textbook trade setup I talk about, right? We came down. Not only were we testing the 200 moving average, and you can see there, went through it by 1 tick, right? So great opportunity, but it was also our roadmap level, and it was also the morning resistance right there. So there was a whole bunch of stuff, and then if you want to add another layer to it, it is basically a 50% retracement of the push, right? Right into the 50% retrace of the morning leg. So there was a whole bunch of stuff lining up there. Great opportunity. If you did take it, you were able to get 5, 6 points, 7 points out of it, but then the whole thing rolled back over and then found the next bounce, what do you know, right back to VWAP and the holy orange power level. Another great spot to go ahead and try along. And if you did, there was some follow through there. You did get at least a 5-pointer out of it. It was like a 6-point bounce. And then, what do you know, rejection with the bearish divergence off the fast moving average. Right, so this is all just textbook price movement on our roadmap levels, and then comes down, and then I think this was the low of the morning, and then we got the big rip. So the low of the morning comes right back to, and notice we kept holding this general area in the market. And this is a new scaffolding level. This is a major rotational area on the new March contract for the S&P 500 futures at 58.98, right? So it held and it held and it held. We broke out, and then of course they had to come back and test into that and bounce one tick in front of our roadmap level again. So that began this beautiful push higher, and on the way up, as you can see, very aggressive on that first push, pulled back to the 50 retrace of that leg, and then we started to push out from here. Now, it wasn't perfectly clean. They did not come down right to the roadmap level at 15.5 and bounce from there, but for all intents and purposes, basically held. Not saying that that would have been a winning trade if I took it, because it did go through by almost 5 points. But on the way up, they did hold the pullback to the 200 if you want to get that first pop. And then it just started to really get strong to the upside. You can see, once again, even though we get these shallow pullbacks, typically they come right into a roadmap level, hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4 tests. There's the kiss of the fast moving average. And then here we go for the rally. So on the way up here, it kind of just, came up, pulled back very slightly, got up, pulled back to the FMA, got up through the close of the day before, pulled back right to it there, and then just kept going. So there were a lot of these shallow pullbacks you could have got in on. That was a bullish divergence on that. So if you look, as we're ripping higher here, that pullback right there, basically a retest of the previous daily close, was a nice bullish divergence as well. So another great opportunity to get in with no risk, basically, and then kept going and kept going. So we can kind of just push through a lot of this. They didn't even have the bears didn't even have enough strength to pull back to the fast moving average the whole way up. And then we get all the way up and come right into, this was actually a bearish divergence off this roadmap level. And then we get a decent 10, 12 point pullback from there, right? On that pullback, what do you know? They hold right off the roadmap level for the pop, but just not enough strength to keep going. And then here's another prime example where we get through major roadmap level, and then it becomes this area of support. Now that first test, obviously not nice, but then after that, once, twice, 3 times, there's the 4th test, 1 tick in front, and then we get the test of that roadmap level very close, and then we keep going. This right here, my friends, was another beautiful opportunity with a big, huge divergence, testing our level basically to the tick. You take that trade, you take no risk, and you would have got, again, tens and tens of points to the upside. Kept going, kept holding that fast moving average. There's the pullback into the previous daily high. Kept going. Rode that fast moving average. That's why I say this is your best friend in a strong moving market. Keeps going, pulls back. What do you know? Right back to a roadmap level on the 200 moving average with a whole bunch of bullish divergence. Another great long opportunity. Kept going, have a little bit of a pullback. What do you know? And that's what I mean. This stuff blows me away, that it seems to kind of get through a lot of our levels and then come right back to them and bounce off of them to the tick, like one by one. And that's what we see here. Holding the first one, getting through it, pulling back, holding the next one, getting through that. And then notice that as we get to the end of the day here, the major rotational point in the market where we can't really hold above is the next roadmap level at 60.46. And they even kind of get through it, come back. There's the hold off the next roadmap level, right? And then comes up and comes right to it, gives it a kiss, gives it a nice bearish divergence right off that high. And then we get the big pullback for the day, right? You can see where I tried some shorts here as we were selling off. And again, of course, I got in kind of right at the end of that move, but was still able to make a whole bunch of money on the way down, right? Got stopped out there because it peaked right through me, right? So I got a decent winning trade here with these 2 contracts, and then this one stopped me out. But that's the name of the game. That's trading. Then they come back up. Notice on that pullback, they're holding the roadmap level basically, right? There's the test and the big pop. And then they come and test it, peek through it. And then there's the final test to the tick. They come back, they give it that nice kiss, and then bam, come up. And what do you know? We get a bearish divergence off the next roadmap level for the next pullback, right? And then it pulls back again, comes up, tests the 200 to the back end. That is, my friends, a beautiful opportunity right there. You know where you're wrong, just a couple ticks above the 200. You've got a bearish divergence on that test, starts pulling back. Great opportunity to see if you're going to nail the rotational, the bearish rotation for the rest of the day. And sure enough, if you grab that, again, no risk, big sell-off, comes down. Fortunately, does not come right to a roadmap level. Maybe we need to consider something in that 92 area of the new contract, but came right in, held it there, and it wasn't just one hold. I mean, there's something going on right about 91.75, 92 there, I would say, because that's a lot of demand right in that area. And as you can see, as we get into right at the end of the week here, it just goes sideways, right? So there's still nice little fractal structures, those divergent structures where you get the peak above, bearish divergence, and the pullbacks. There's the hold off of our roadmap level again for a nice bounce, and then they get down below and they actually come up and kiss it right to the tick there for the pullback, right? And then there's this 92 here, which I think might have something to it. And then the end of the, like I said, the end of the day just kind of petered back and forth in this area, right? So if you look at it, not a whole bunch of rhyme or reason, but still you get the pullback to the 200, big divergence, holds it on that second test and goes, right? So still an opportunity off the 200 with almost no risk for that pop. And then there you have it, the last couple minutes of Friday of last week, and you get this big pullback, which, by the way, you see this huge divergence going on right here. If you're watching this in real time, I mean, this comes all the way up. You can see the divergence forming and forming and forming, and then finally you get the break through the fast moving average, the slightly lower high right at the 50% retrace of that little pullback, and then you have a nice bearish move. And even if you were trying to find an opportunity right in the last half hour of the market, look at that, my friends, right to the back end of that roadmap level with a bearish divergence. There's a fast moving average, and bam, you got yourself another, what, almost 20 points back down, almost. So great opportunities on Friday. Of course, it was a pretty fast moving market at some points. So that's it. Let's go ahead and jump up to our higher time frames now.